you ever been talking to somebody but you knew they weren't listening to you? How's that make you feel usually when that happens?
Unheard.
Unimportant.
Yeah, doesn't make you feel very good, right?
No.
Well, maybe if you listen to the speech, you can pick up some tips and tricks on how you can become a better listener. Now, I had to learn this the hard way. I've never been a very good listener. I have a very active mind, and I tend to overthink things, which doesn't translate into good listening. For example, right now I'm not thrilled with my career right now, so I'm trying to volunteer at different organizations to try to find something I'm passionate about and meet new people. There's one organization I volunteered at that provides companionship for elderly people, so the idea is you become kind of friendly with the older people and it provides them with a companion. And I ended up going to the orientation for this organization, and at the orientation you're paired with someone and you have to introduce yourself to them and talk with them, and then you go around the room and introduce them to the group. So when it came to I got paired with this nice older woman. Her name was Natasha. When it was my turn to speak, I said, "Hi everyone, this is Natasha. She joined this organization because she cares about care and respect for elderly people, because she was raised by her grandparents." And then very confidently I said, I don't think I've ever said anything this confidently. I said, and fun fact, she actually played basketball overseas semi-professionally. Everybody in the room oohed and ahed. A curious volunteer followed up my introduction of her with, "Oh, that's really cool that you played basketball overseas. Which team did you play for?" And Natasha replied, somewhat dishearteningly, putting her head down, "I never played basketball overseas, but my husband did." So you know that feeling after you embarrass yourself in front of other people? Wish you had like a turtle shell that you could burrow your head into and hide away. It's kind of how I felt. So, felt embarrassed, critical thoughts came in, I'm too focused on myself, I need to become a better listener. It wasn't the end of the world, but it stuck with me. How can I become a better listener? And there's this book I read a couple of years ago. I was thinking back, and it's called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah.
It's a great book. I'd recommend it to anybody if you haven't read it. And there's a chapter in there on listening. And the principle to become a better listener is become genuinely interested in other people. And I like this because it's not a cheap gimmick. It's not pretend you're interested in other people and then make them like you, and then you can get what you want out of them. It's become genuinely interested in them, which I like. So how can I put this new idea how can I test it out? And as luck would have it, as part of my journey of self-discovery, I volunteered at another organization called Better Angels, which focuses on political depolarization. The idea is to get people from opposite sides of the political spectrum together to have a civil discussion about politics. And the idea is just teaching people skills to deal with friends and family they don't agree with politically. As luck would have it, listening was one of the skills they were teaching at the workshop I attended. So I got paired with this cranky older woman, her name was Judy, and she told me, and we got together for an exercise, and she said that we were given the instruction that the idea is listen to a political point that you don't agree with, and the only goal is to listen to them and reflect back in your own words what they said. So this kind of reminded me of the book I read, How to Win Friends and Influence People, how become genuinely interested in other people, reflect back in your own words. That kind of paired nicely. So I remember listening to her, and usually when I hear a political point I don't agree with, I'll start thinking something in my mind like, oh, how can I refute this point? Or like, oh, she said something incorrect there. But my only goal was to reflect back what she said. I noticed I listened a lot better. So at the end, she was talking about immigration. She was going on and on about immigration. I said, okay, so you're concerned about the financial and security risks that immigration costs the United States. And she said, yes, exactly. You're a good listener. It's the first time that anybody has ever told me that I'm a good listener. But what struck me is I never remembered listening so effectively. In the book, Dale Carnegie says that you can win more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. In other words, listening is important. And if you become genuinely interested in other people, I guarantee that you'll become a better listener.